so what are the scenarios that can play out on Super Saturday? The three broad scenarios we are tracking for the Delhi election. Scenario number one is that somehow, despite what the polls are saying, despite what the pundits are saying, Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party find a way of scraping through. Polls have been wrong in the past. Pundits have been proven wrong too. Could it happen again? For this to happen, the women vote of Delhi would have had to go overwhelmingly in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party. Remember, there are polls that show that AAP is ahead amongst women while the BJP leads amongst men. If the gap is massive, say 10 plus percentage points, 15 points, as some polls like C-Voter have picked up, then AAP will find a way of going through. This will also require that there be no split in the slum clusters in the AAP's vote. Remember, in previous elections, the vast majority of voters in the Jhuggis of the capital said they voted AAP. If that continues, there may have been some disenchantment, but if that disenchantment doesn't lead to a change in voting pattern in the slums, then that helps the Aam Aadmi Party. And this would also require, lastly, a massive class divide. While the vast majority of, say, those watching India Today at this time, upwardly mobile, relatively well-to-do, they may have a different point of view, but those who are at the bottom of the income pyramid. So it's not so much about caste as much as it is about class. If it becomes an us versus them, a class warfare kind of election, that too helps Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party find a way of going through. So that's scenario one, which sees Kejriwal scraping through. Let's take a look at the second scenario, and this has happened last in 2013. When Sheila Dikshit was on her way out, but AAP didn't have enough steam to knock the Congress out of power. So then you had a khichdi kind of government. So you had Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP both unable to get a majority on their own. Both did well, but you needed the Congress to come in and play a role and help the AAP actually form the government. So this is the second scenario, where neither party gets a majority of its own. Voters are unhappy with the AAP, so the AAP actually slips. The BJP rises, but it isn't enough to turn the political apple cart upside down. So if in which scenario, there'd be all kinds of horse trading, because then you got BJP, and we've already seen the Aam Aadmi Party allege that they're trying to poach MLAs away from the AAP. That will be the charge. The AAP will try and see if they can get together with the Congress to form a government. So that's really scenario number two. Scenario number three is that this election turns into a referendum on Arvind Kejriwal. Aar ya par, like him, hate him, want him out. And if the number of people who view Kejriwal negatively is high, then the state of the local BJP doesn't matter. The candidates, whether they're inspiring, uninspiring, doesn't matter. What matters is people want Kejriwal out. If that is the case, as some polls have predicted, which are picking up a 5-6% gap between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, then the Bharatiya Janata Party will hit the AAP out of the park at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in the national capital. It would be a massive victory. It would be a sound rejection of Arvind Kejriwal's theatrics, this business of fighting with the government, always being unhappy. Voters will say enough is enough, ab aur drama nahi chahiye. That could potentially lead to a landslide victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party. So those are the three scenarios.